Jordan Janzen with The Color joining me today. So great to have you. Let me start off by just saying again, congratulations on the Juno. That is absolutely amazing this year.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me this morning. We always appreciate being able to connect with you guys and letting just using the platform that you have to communicate with the local community. We appreciate it.
Definitely. So, talking about the Juno, but also where you are, which we're going to get to in a second. You guys have been doing some traveling this year. Is this like way more than last year? You went to, I believe it was Toronto for the Junos. Fill me in here
Yeah,
where you guys have
yeah,
been.
for sure. Yeah, it's been exponentially more than last year. Last year we ended up doing 2 weekends, and that was it. The year before, 2020, we did one show, and so it's been well. I guess that's not totally true. Maybe 7 shows before COVID shut things down, but things are starting to pick up again, which has been really exciting for us and a little bit different to get back into the mode of tour life and understanding that 2 years has passed and our families like physically look different than they did for some of us at least quite a bit different, and so trying to adjust to it, but overall being just really thankful that we can get back out and see the world and communicate with people, share our music, and it's been really great so far.
That's fantastic. I would love to hear, where are you right now?
Yeah, today I am sitting at my little apartment that we're staying in Hay River, Northwest Territories. And so we are partnered with the Billy Graham Association, which is a partnership that's been going on for a number of years. We've been working together with them since 2015 and doing the majority of their Canadian events and a few of them in the US as well. And so they try to just connect with communities that are a little bit, um, I guess, off the beaten path and just don't necessarily have the same connection to I guess, the greater, like they just don't have as many people coming through and they don't have as many opportunities to experience live music and events of like the celebration, which is just a really great thing for a community. And so they're very intentional with that. And this summer, in preparation for an event that they're going to be doing in December with George Canyon and Brooke Nichols, we're kind of like an introduction to the community. And so introducing people to the Billy Graham Association, providing an event for the community that just really loves on them with no strings attached, to bring some awareness to what's going to be happening in December. So we're actually here as JJ and the Ringers, which is a little bit different. We're kind of letting people know that we are the Color, but in this setting we're not, because we're playing country music, which is different than what we typically do. So they wanted us to provide something that would just feel familiar. So a lot of people up north here listen to country music. That's the radio stations they get. They're familiar with the songs, and so we wanted to give them something that they could be excited about without having to take the time to get to know us or know our music. So it's been pretty cool.
Okay,
Sorry, I
tell me
just
a little bit more
answered
about,
all your
yeah,
questions probably.
I love it. Tell me a little bit more about JJ and the Ringers. Like, did you guys just come up with that? Are you're
Yeah,
doing covers?
there's not a lot of thought put into it. It was like we needed to come up with a name. Yeah, so because we're playing country covers, typically like the songs are kind of like from the mid 2000s, which is when I was in high school. We felt like that was a good era that would connect well with the broad audience, and so we're playing some Tim McGraw, some Keith Urban. Yeah, it's all country covers, and trying to keep it family friendly, but really honing in on the hits. And so it's been actually really fun. We all love country music, but it's not necessarily something that we get to play very often. And so this provides a new opportunity to do something a little bit different. So for 3 shows, we are JJ and the Ringers.
Okay, and that's the three shows in the Northwest Territories.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Now, when I think about, like, not obviously, I'm Canadian, you're
Yeah.
Canadian. Now, I live smack dab in the middle of Canada. I know, so do you. When I think of how broad and huge our country is, like physically huge, I know the West Coast in between. I don't really connect with the East Coast just because I've
Right.
never been there. And same with Yukon and Northwest Territories. It feels a little foreign, and I think I wouldn't be the only one saying that. So, with that said,
Right.
would
Right.
you mind shining a little light? What is it like in the Northwest Territories?
Yeah, it's really beautiful, to be honest. It just landscape wise. Sorry, I know it's a little windy here. It might be making a bit of noise. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Just don't want to cause issues. Um, it is really beautiful. It's a really beautiful countryside. We've been to 3 different locations. So we were actually in Fort Chipewyan, which is in Alberta, northern Alberta, and then Fort Smith, Northwest Territories, and then Hay River, which is where we are right now, which is in the Northwest Territories. But we flew into Yellowknife when we were traveling up here, and so that feels a little bit more remote. There's no grass on when we played golf when we were up there. There's no grass on the fairways. It's all sandy. There's a lot of rocks. And then when we were now that we're here in Hay River, it's a lot more lush, but it's really beautiful. I think we've said a few times that if you placed us in all of these areas in different spots, you could convince us that we were in the Interlake or in the White Shell. It feels very familiar in that sense, but you're just far away from really anything. Like when you're in these communities, as soon as you get outside of it, there's not a whole lot going on. There's a lot of forests, there's a lot of trees. We run into a lot of wild buffalo driving from Hay River to Fort Smith yesterday, which was incredible. Like it's just an incredibly unique experience.
Right
But
on.
it's a really beautiful place with a lot of wonderfully friendly people, and yeah, there are people who live quite reasonably normal lives here, but they are a little bit further away from civilization as we know it.
So are many of these fly-in communities only, or can you
It's a
drive
great
there?
question. Yeah, so in Fort Chipewyan, that is a flying community for most of the year. When it's wintertime, you can drive the ice roads. But given that it's July and August, we flew in, and then to come to Hay River, you can drive up here. So there's a group of we're partnered together with a church for this week called Home Church out of Red Deer, and they drove up here. So it's about a 14-hour drive for them from Red Deer. But the roads aren't. It's a little more remote. It's a 2-lane highway, and the reality of traveling up here can be a little bit more challenging. So we opted to fly, which is great. So we take the northern flights, which look a little bit different than some of the planes that most people would probably be used to, where they're split with cargo, half of it's cargo and then half of it's seating. And we've flown quite a few times now, so we've become quite familiar with it. We can kind of get a sense of if a community feels a little bit northern for various different reasons. But we love it here. Honestly, it's been such a privilege to enter into the lives of the people that live here, because it's probably not something that we would have done on our own. Just That's just to be candid, because like you said, you're just kind of not aware of it, and that was definitely the case for us, where we really never thought of it as an option in terms of touring. Just practically, it's difficult to get out here, so we're really thankful for the partnership that we have with the Billy Graham Association and their heart for these communities, because they do make it happen, and it's been pretty special to be part of that.
When it comes to the fact, like, you guys are playing country music, because again, like you said, trying to connect in that way, have
Hmm
you
hmm
had moments of connection? Like you came up with a church, you're with the Billy Graham Association. Have there been extra moments of connection, even with, yeah, that kind of concert?
Sorry, I'm just trying to. Yeah, definitely. I mean, so what's happening here is it's like a carnival, and so there's the home church has set up bouncy castles, and they've set up food and like face painting and different things for the kids, and so there's this group of people that are all gathered. Yesterday, I believe we had about 400 people that came through, and so they're expecting about the same today, or maybe a little bit more. This community is a little bit bigger. And so, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, we're playing country music, and so when you think about a typical show from The Color, a lot of what we're sharing about in our life experiences are tied to the songs that we're singing. But honestly, I've found that the same rules apply. Like, obviously, I didn't write the songs, we didn't write the songs, but a lot of the same themes still translate. And so, for example, we're singing a song called "Live Like You Were Dying" by Tim McGraw. What it just talks about is this reality that life is short and fragile, and so we can speak to that, and that's what we're doing. And so trying to still connect verbally through storytelling about our life experiences, and able to have those moments in the same way that we would during a regular show, except now people know they know the song. So maybe there's even a deeper, the hope is that there's a an ability to connect maybe even a little bit quicker because of that familiarity. But yeah, it's been a really interesting process. I didn't know what to expect going into it. It's like you're playing cover songs, you're a cover band, but just the way that we try to do things, I think we approach it a little bit differently. Where a song is a vessel in the same way that we lead worship, and we're doing songs often that we haven't written, and those ones speak specifically to Jesus in a different way, probably more directly. They do, but yeah, it still seems to be in there, and to be able to sort of draw out those little themes, and it still works, I think.
Fantastic.
Does that answer your question?
Well, yes, it does. Absolutely. Well, Jordan, you're like, I don't know, thousands of kilometers away from me now. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. We're going to let our listeners know all about this. And if people want to check out more about The Color, how can they do that?
You can go to our website, thecolloronline.com, and Color is spelled COLOR if you don't know that already. And you can check out our Instagram at thecolortc, and we've been posting up there as we've been traveling, so you can check out some of our pictures and our stories and see what's going on.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for being here again with me today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I was thinking if there's one thing I wanted to say, just to point awareness, because I think with the northern communities, it's easy to get fixated on the fact that it's so different, and they're so whatever they live in these communities that are far away from us. Life looks a little bit different just because of cost involved of being here, but it's been an honor to be here. There's a lot of history. Some of that history isn't so pleasant, and we've been learning more about residential schools here just by hearing stories firsthand from people that attended. And yeah, I think it's as special as it is to be somewhere new and somewhere cool. I hope that that it can be understood that we feel honored to be here. It's been a special experience to be able to be this small part of something that clearly is so much bigger than us. And so we are hoping that the hope of Christ really lands in a fresh and new way for these communities, and we're excited to see what we know that God is already working here through the relationships. And one of the I think the incredible things that the Billy Graham Association does so well is that they connect with the community way in advance of the one event that most people are going to hear about. And so yeah, we're expecting to see lives impacted, and we're just thankful to be able to bring a little bit of hope through country music.